Hey, 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 welcome everyone. It's Thriving Solo Thursday. It's going to give people a few minutes to come on in. Come on in. Just making sure everything is live right now. Come on in. Come on in. So, hello everyone. Welcome and thank you for being here today and joining my live, whether you're watching right now or you'll be watching later as a replay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Coach Sheree, the single parent life coach, a certified life coach dedicated to uplifting, encouraging, and guiding single parents. My mission is to provide clarity, understanding, and practical steps to help you navigate single parenthood with confidence. Together, we'll focus on embracing your unique journey, discovering your inner strength, and becoming the best version of yourself for both you and your children. So, today's topic is understanding the challenges of single parenthood, navigating financial strains and emotional stress. Um, Typically, that's one of the things that we will face as single parents dealing with financial strain and emotional stress. And so, one of the things as a single parent, there's so many unique challenges that are presented. It requires you to be resilient. It requires you to balance everything. You have to plan strategically, and you need to have emotional strength. I mean, like it is necessary. um, Balancing financial responsibilities with managing the emotional toll of raising children alone can feel overwhelming. So, however, by understanding these challenges and applying practical solutions, we as single parents can create a stable and fulfilling life for them, for ourselves and our children. Um, so, this discussion that we're going to be talking about today, it's going to focus on two areas: financial stress strain, however you want to say it, emotional stress. And I'm going to offer some practical steps within some achievable outcomes. So, this is going to help you navigate single parenthood with confidence. So, the first thing with when it comes to emotional stress and or strain and financial strain is identifying and acknowledging the challenges. So before we can overcome those struggles, we must first recognize them. You have to realize that there is an issue with your finances, either whether it's how you're handling or you're not making enough, or maybe you have too much outgoing that's not necessities. So again, we want to make sure that we take a look at those things so that we are not so that you're not overwhelming yourself with things that aren't necessary. And so by understanding these challenges, you can definitely um, avoid the pressures of finances, emotional burnout, and feelings of isolation because sometimes that happens, because we do it alone. We do it by ourselves. So, um, the biggest thing for me is when I acknowledge those things, is that I write down the biggest challenges that I'm facing and I identify which ones I can take action on first. For example, if I'm spending too much and I have too much going out than I do coming in, then I have to minimize what I have going out so that the necessities are taken care of. And so when I do this, my practical outcome or my outcome is that I increase self-awareness. I increase my budget, or I increase my budget and I decrease my outgoing. And so if we don't address these things, then you don't have room for personal and financial growth. So the first step is identifying and acknowledging those challenges and figure out what you're doing wrong. Are you overextending yourself? Have things gone up? Contact your utility companies, whether it's water, electric, gas, internet. Those are things that you need. And so you want to contact those companies and find out, hey, how can I do balance billing? How can I? Where do you see me increasing it? What are my peak hours? What are my hours where I can, do laundry where it's not going to cost so much, or that those wattage is not. Especially if there's a wattage increase. If there's like, even if it was 25 cents and it goes up to 30 cents, that's going to be a change in your bill. So again, identifying what those issues are. If you're spending too much, if your wants are above your necessities, I know for myself, I had to cut back on things like, even though it was things that was part of self care, I found other ways to do self care. Um, my self care things were like going to get my nails done, getting toes done, getting my hair done. So I learned, hey, I can do my own hair. Let me do that. And so then actually, shopping for this or shopping for that, clothes, whether maybe every 2 or 3 months, I'll say, okay, I'll go get this, I'll go get that. And I have a budget for it. And even for the children. So again, I have not had nails, done in almost a year. Was it hard at first? Absolutely, because that was for me. That's for me. Why do I need to take that away? And so I had to be self aware that, hey, let me love my natural nails. Nothing wrong with that because I found myself breaking the fake ones. So I just grew my own nails out and I keep them groomed myself, keep them filed down. Eventually, I'll learn how to do what everybody else is doing, ordering the kits online and doing them. So, um, so after you identify and acknowledge those challenges, you want to make sure that you have an outcome of a budget that you can handle, that you're not overwhelmed and things are not running late, that you can pay them before the due date. If it's due on the 15th, pay it on the 10th. Especially like a card note or something, you want to pay that before that 30-day time frame so that your interest doesn't accrue. So then the second thing you want to look at is mastering budgeting and financial management. Kind of talked about that a little bit because one thing you have to realize that just a single income can feel limiting. But with the right budgeting strategies and financial stability is achievable because if you have 3,800 going out and you only make 4,000 a month, then you're left with 200. And that's not enough to have set aside for your unexpected expenses. So again, you want to make sure that you have a budget that is achievable. You also want to make sure that you have room for unexpected expenses. You want to make sure that you have a savings for things that you want to do when you can, or something you can pull from so that you'll have a cushion. That's what this is. That's why it's important to have a budget and manage your finances well. So, and you have to create something that's realistic, even though it's not what you desire. You can reach that goal of being able to do things in a way that it don't feel limited for yourself. Just 1 second here. 1 second. Mm. Okay. So, um, getting back to finances, the second thing I was talking about when it comes to mastering budgeting and financial management. Again, you want to make sure that you sit down and you figure out what an average is for your bills. For instance, if you pay 150 for your electricity, or sometimes more, I've had some unexpected bills in the summertime, and it's highly above that amount that I've budgeted for. But strategically thinking, if you have a budget for, let's say it's $150 for your light bill, and you have for your water bill, you have it at $85. Me, I like to round things off. So for me, that electricity bill is $200. For that water bill, that's actually $90. Um, and then I would budget for, let's say, gas bill would be $80 as well. And so not typically what that is right now, but again, that's what that may be. And let's say rent is these days 1,500 a month. So if I'm making 3,200 a month and I have 1,500 in rent, I might need to make some adjustments. Um, and figure that out, whether that means to change the job or change where you live. Sometimes you have to downsize. So you just take a look at some of those things. And these are just things that I'm just throwing out there. This may not be your typical situation, but you have to be able to, especially if you're like me or most single parents where you cannot afford to, have a second job because it takes away from your children or it takes away from the things that they're expecting you to be at, such as their activities. So you have to figure out how to have a realistic and flexible budget by looking at your expenses, what's going out and what's coming in. And if you're going out is more expensive, is more than you're coming in, then figure out where you can downsize. Figure out what you can eliminate. Meaning, okay, well then, okay, we need to wash only on Saturdays and Sundays. Me, I have Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Those are my least wattage of usage days. And so I'm able to say, okay, you know what? Let's make Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays as the wash test, but early in the morning. And so then sometimes if I do it early in the morning, if I do it consecutively, there's not a huge increase in my light bill or electricity bill for that month. And so then also figure out um what your billing cycle is. That helps as well. Look at the billing cycle for all of your bills versus what your paydays are. And then see where you can go ahead and pay it before the due date. Your billing cycle, your due date, and look at your payday. And then when you look at those and you see, and then write it down, keep a track. I have an Excel spreadsheet. I used to do it from a notebook. So I've graduated, I've grown. So, but however, you need to write those things down, and once you pay that bill, then discard of it. And that way you can see where you're at. Even if you're falling behind, call and ask for a payment arrangement. See if you're eligible for that. And if you are, see what you can do to make sure that get that paid and get it taken care of. And then try to see if you can get something such as balance billing. And I hope some of these things are helping, because you do need to separate your needs from your wants, and prioritize your expenses by saying, okay, this is a necessity, this is a want. Can I do this want every 2 to 3 months? When I first started downsizing and first started looking at my budget, I started downsizing how often I would get my nails and my toes done. So, because that was for me. And so I would get my nails done once a month. My pedicures were only every 2 to 3 months because, again, I couldn't put my wants before my expenses. And so it didn't mean that everything fell into place at once either. It was a learning experience. I had to learn it because then you have to also shift your mindset, because my mind was like, I want what I want when I wanted it. And this is for me. So again, you want to make sure that you set aside the difference in what your wants are and your needs are, so that you can build an emergency fund on a tight budget. Even if it's tight, it's achievable, because then not only are you shifting things for yourself, you're also shifting it for your children. And it's not easy at first, because telling them no is not what you want, especially when they're used to getting those things, when they're used to having this and that, when they want it, when they need it. And so, again, you just have to sit down and have that conversation with them and explain to them, hey, it's not that I don't want to do it. This is necessary for us to be able to live right and live stress free and be able to live within our means and not above our means. So again, once you start mastering your budget and manage your finances, you can also build that emergency fund, but your possible outcome would be reducing your financial stress and have a stronger sense of control over your money managing. And that's so important, because you're on one income, or even if you have two jobs, you're on two incomes. So you want to, one income. So you want to make sure that you can manage that one before you bring in a second one. Because if you do, you're not looking at that as, to to help take care of the things that you prioritize, your necessities, you're looking at that as extra. I've been there and I've done that, and it's really not extra. It's just adding to what you have to take care of your necessities. So the next thing I want to take a look at is looking at what your options are as far as additional income, so that you can have extra streams of income, financial security. If you're not able to do that, that's understandable. Because again, all of us cannot do that. Sometimes we have other priorities and roles and responsibilities as single parents, mothers, fathers, and you have to be able to be there for your children. That's important. You know, that's a rewarding thing. If you all have seen some of my posts lately, I post my youngest on there, and I love going to her tournament games. Now, is it expensive? Absolutely. You know, but when you take these necessary steps of balancing your but managing your finances and understanding what's a necessity and what's a want, you figure out other ways to where you can handle those things and be able to rely on just that single income so that you're not stressed out. um Find out what you're good at. You can create and see if you can turn it into a passive income, and that way, if that's an additional income that you can have coming in, whether it's 200, 300, that's extra. That's an additional income. I said extra, I said the wrong thing. That's an additional income where you can actually help build that rainy day fund, and so emergency fund. And so if you make t-shirts, or are you creative and you like or if you have a book club and you may want to charge a $10 fee. I mean, that's something that's so simple. Even if it's 5 people, that's $50 that you can have, set aside for a rainy day. That may not seem like as much. Don't look at the fact that the quantity. Look at the quality of life that you're creating for yourself, and that is going to be a game changer for you. And so what you do is you research and you select things that um, a strategy. You start out small. You have to, and even if it's a side hustle, whatever it is that will gain an additional income for you to have financial stability, figure that out. Do your research and take the first step toward it, and so that you can reduce that stress and have financial independence, and you're not borrowing from someone, or you're not stressed out trying to figure it out yourself. But I also will say, pray about it and figure out what your next steps are going to be. And then, like I said, you'll have your outcome can be more financial security. Again, reducing your stress levels, and having more of a financial independence, and you're not, affecting your credit. You're not, always saying no to your children. You can actually take a vacation, because that's one thing that I'm looking forward to soon. And so the next thing is reaching out, and also, even if you seek help, you also want to be able to accept it, to support you without having guilt there. Sometimes, we struggle with asking for help. I've been there. And, sometimes we do that because we fear judgment, or we feel like we're a burden to someone. So, and that's why it's so important to build a strong support system, even if it seems like you've burned bridges over the years. You will have that support, those people that will support you. And if they cannot, then figure out your plan of how you can support yourself. And so, like I stated previously, looking at things such as what you can do that's maybe a hobby or something that you like doing, like making t-shirts or being creative, making cups, or, if you cook, selling up, I know a lot of people, when I was growing up, they did fish fries and dinner plates and, things like that to bring in that extra income. Let your skills that you have now, let that be your guiding point to have that additional income. And so, even if it's you like children and you want to do a child care program, you want to babysit on the weekends for someone, 25, $50, 75, 100. If that's $100, $50 one day, 50 the next, that's $100 for the weekend that you have, that you can set aside in your rainy day fund. And so, and even when you're dealing with the guilt of things, I think the guilt comes from when you borrowed from family and friends beforehand, and they made you feel like you were a burden, or the fact that you can't handle your situation, or you're not wise enough to handle it. Well, that's not so. The pressures of life will make you respond to it in a different way. You are wise. You are taking care of your children, you're working a job, you're doing the best you can with what you have. Just make those adjustments and you'll start to see, where you have some breathing room at. Um, I remember back in 2021 when I had a car accident and my car was paid off and had been paid off for a couple of years. I was like, yeah, I don't want a note. And then my car it cost more to get it fixed than it did, than it was worth. And so I ended up having to purchase a new vehicle, and that was not in my plan. But I am thankful and grateful to God that I'll be paying it off in 90 days. They told me how many payments I had left, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, Jesus, because I am so ready to pay that off. Because even though it's a safer way to get around, um, it's still adding to your bills, So again, you want to make sure that if you have a support of people, whether that's friends, a community, your church, your neighbor, be able to utter, even when you feel the guilt, utter your needs are. Even if they say no, you be thankful that you have the courage to ask, because that takes a lot of courage to ask anyone. But the fact that you ask, you tried to figure it out. And so it doesn't hurt to ask someone else again. Sometimes we have to deal with, that guilt of, well, I can't do it because I'm like that. It has to be done by me. Mama gonna do it. I'll take care of it. That's usually how I am. But again, I had to learn that I cannot do it all. And a lot of things, okay, I gotta let this go because that's taken away from my children. And so when you look at that, you allow your love for yourself, love for your children to make you make better choices and make better decisions. So overcoming that guilt and I'm sorry, what comes with guilt is self doubt and not you don't know your self worth, and so you want to overcome that um, by going from I'm sorry, going from survival mode to thriving mode. And the way that you can do that is you have to let go of that parental guilt and embrace, the fact that you're doing the best that you can with what you have. And so what you do is you have to refrain from negative thoughts and build your self-confidence by saying, I am enough. I am good enough. I am doing the best that I can with what I have until I can do better. That's why when you make those adjustments, you don't feel like you're living above your means. You feel like you'll begin to feel like you're living within your means, even if it's that one bill you forgot about, because I've been there and I'm still there sometimes. Oh my goodness, I forgot about this. But at least you be grateful in the fact that you were able to take care of it before something was turned off or before you got too far behind. Even though it may be a payment plan today, it may be paid off tomorrow. So if you change the way that you think and don't have the negative thoughts, just be grateful in whatever situation you may find yourself in, then hey, you will be able to plan strategically because your thinking will change and your self confidence will be built. And then that means your finances will be managed well. And so, like I said, you'll having an outcome will be an increased confidence, reduce stress again, and you have more of a positive outlook on single parenthood. And then, even if it's not a vacation that you're looking for, maybe you just want to take them to the park and enjoy a meal there. Getting outside the home, or even taking a walk, that relieves that stress. And sometimes taking a walk just means getting out the house and being able to have that conversation and that having time. When you manage, you have time because sometimes when you're overwhelmed and you're stressed out, all you want to do is sleep. All you want to do is find something to make you laugh. And sometimes all you want to do is be to yourself. And so sometimes those things take you away from your children and it doesn't allow you to be the best parent that you can be to them. And so also, the next thing you want to move into is creating a long-term financial and emotional, creating long-term financial and emotional stability. So, This way, you're not, like I stated beforehand, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. And so a lot of times, it's not about how much money I need to make. Sometimes it is, but depending on your experience, when it comes to certain jobs, depending on the type of jobs you're trying to have, you want to make sure that you don't live above your means. That's the biggest one. That's what we do here in America. We live above our means because we go and we grab what everybody else has instead of staying in our lane. Been there, done that. And so just because someone else has it doesn't mean that you can't have it. It just means not right now. No, just it doesn't mean never. It means not right now. Let me get to that point to where I'm not stressed out just to keep that vehicle, or stressed out just to keep that home, or stressed out just to buy these clothes or look a certain way. So be authentically you, understanding what your limitations are and being okay with it. Because we're all limited in some way. But your finances, you should be able to um, set a 3 to 6 month goal, saving a certain amount, whether it's $25 a month. We People tell us, hey, you need to save $100 a month or $200 a month. You do what's in your means, in your means to do, and what your finances are. Set a goal. Look at what you have outgoing. Look at what you have incoming, and figure out, okay, if I have more outgoing than I have incoming, what can I do to make adjustments? Where can I make adjustments? Because um, when you are saving a certain amount, you're reducing debt. Because if you are living above your means, if something doesn't add up or you can't afford something but you don't want to give it up, we end up making decisions like taking out loans or borrowing money from someone. You still got to pay them back, or losing a vehicle. I've been there too, actually 3 times. So it's not that what I'm saying is not something that I haven't lived. And I'm saying it to you all so that you understand that it is possible. The reason why it takes us so long to get to that point is our mindset, because we're stuck on what we want. Sometimes you have to change the way you view things. You have to change your outlook. You have to change your mindset. You have to change your perspective. And we're going to get into that in the next couple of weeks, understanding how to change your mindset so that you can have a more positive outlook on things, on your situation. But again, setting a 3 month or 6 month goal, it helps you to obtain small actionable steps to achieve that main goal that you're wanting to achieve, such as financial stability. It's not an easy thing. You will mess up in the midst of it. You will. I guarantee you will. But you tried. You took the first step. And all that does is get back up, dust yourself off, and try again. And so that way you can have the outcome of a clear vision for your future with tangible steps, not intangible, tangible steps for financial freedom and emotional well being. So I hope there's been something that I've said on tonight that has allowed you to make adjustments where we need to make those adjustments, not feel bad about it, overcome that guilt and self doubt, and, do away with worry. It's okay. You're doing the best that you can, even if something gets turned off. Hey, then next time what you'll need to do. Because sometimes if something doesn't happen or you don't experience pain, you're not on purpose. If you don't experience pain, you won't learn a lesson, and hey, I won't do that again, or I won't let that lapse again. And so single parents and parenthood is challenging, but you are not alone. We're all in this together. Each step you take toward financial and emotional well-being creates a stronger foundation for you and your children. Now, I want to challenge you with this one last thing. Choose one key takeaway from what I've spoken about tonight and commit to implementing in your finances this week. What will that be? So until next time, thank you all for joining. I'll see you next Thursday as we dive into some more actionable steps so that we can take the necessary steps to gain control of our finances and have more of managing them better. Okay, until next time, bye for now.